my name is Stephanie and welcome to Antiquity Academy. Today we're going to be talking about Giovanni de Verrazzano and Hernando de Soto, kind of a two-in-one just to get things moving along. Verrazzano was born in 1485 just south of Florence, Italy. From a young age he became one of the earliest Europeans to explore the North American mainland, again ignoring the Vikings and their 500-year head start. Competition in trade throughout Europe became very high after the settling of Central America, so in 1523 Verrazzano was hired by the French to explore the area between Florida and Newfoundland in search of a passage to the Pacific Ocean. A few months later, 4 ships set sail. However, violent storms sunk 2 of the ships and severely damaged the others, forcing Verrazzano and his crew to turn back. By the end of the year they set sail again, but headed south to calmer waters. However, the Spanish and the Portuguese heavily controlled this area. In March of 1524, Verrazzano landed near Cape Fear, then quickly moved on to the Pamlico Sound in what is now North Carolina. Verrazzano wrote to King Francis I explaining that he believed the Pamlico Sound was a passage to the Pacific Ocean. This resulted in many errors in contemporary maps. North America would not be accurately mapped for hundreds of years. Verrazzano then moved northward, sailed around Long Island, and explored Narragansett Bay. From there he moved through Maine, Nova Scotia, and Newfoundland before returning to France. Verrazzano made 2 more voyages, the second taking him to Brazil and the third to the Lesser Antilles in 1528. He docked at Guadalupe where he was apparently killed and eaten by the natives. However, other sources claim that the Spanish killed him for piracy. Verrazzano's expeditions partially mapped out eastern North America, allowing other explorers like Hernando de Soto to venture into the North American mainland. In 1539, De Soto's 9 ships and 620 men landed in South Tampa Bay. From there, they moved north to explore the West Floridian coast. They spent the winter in the western panhandle of Florida before moving northeast through what is now Georgia, the Carolinas, and Tennessee. From this point, De Soto's exact route is still undetermined. He either continued along the Tennessee River into what is now Alabama, or turned south and headed back to Georgia. From either Alabama or Georgia, De Soto's expedition moved south to the Gulf of Mexico to meet ships bringing supplies. Along the way, they were ambushed by the Mobilan tribe and engaged in what is now known as the Battle of Mobila. The Spanish were victorious and retaliated by burning the city to the ground. Because burning cities is a nice thing to do. It's not nice. Though victorious, the Spanish lost over 200 men, much of their supplies, and nearly a quarter of their horses. Not wanting word of this setback to reach Spain if they went to the Gulf of Mexico, De Soto led his men into Mississippi. In the spring of 1541, De Soto demanded 200 men from the Chickasaw tribe, who refused and attacked the Spanish camp. They lost another 40 men and their remaining equipment. In May 1541, De Soto reached the Mississippi River, which he wasn't very excited about. In fact, he actually saw it as an obstacle for the expedition since it was very difficult to cross and heavily patrolled by natives. After about a month, they were able to construct rafts, cross the river, and continue westward through Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. Later that year, De Soto's expedition became the first to explore the Valley of Vapors, which was peppered in natural hot springs, where multiple Native American tribes gathered in peace to experience the spring's healing properties. The Spanish only stayed long enough to claim the valley for Spain. The expedition eventually returned to the Mississippi River, where De Soto died of a fever on May 21, 1542. The expedition was left in the hands of De Soto's field commander, who led the expedition through Florida for another 3 years in search of gold and sites for colonization. Finding nothing, the expedition was aborted. Now for this week's Censored Truth. There's not much to blame Verrazzano for since he and his men spent most of the time sailing around and having problems with their ships, so this list is dedicated to De Soto. During the Battle of Mobila, between 2,000 and 6,000 natives were killed because the Spanish conquistadors are instigating 5-year-olds. In order to gain the natives' trust and to more easily subjugate them, De Soto told them that he was an immortal sun god. Because of this, De Soto's men had to cover up his death, so it is believed that his body was dumped in the Mississippi River. Don't forget to subscribe, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram. Thanks for watching.